Hello there, and welcome back to the Agostino Zinga Show with your host, Agostino Zinga, and this is episode number 913. That is nueve, uno, tres. As you can tell by my little stutter there, I haven't really been practicing much of my Spanish, hence why it's a little bit rusty. But welcome back, everybody. Welcome back, everybody. Bienvenido, and all of that motherfucking stuff in between. Hope you're doing well wherever this podcast, this live stream, this video, this bit of content may find you. I hope you're doing swimmingly. How am I? Pretty good. Today I took a bit of a break from the gym. I decided to stay in because I had to do a bunch of things, so I'm feeling a little bit worse for wear, but I'm going to be back on it again tomorrow. I kind of did like good 7 or 6 days in a row these past couple of days, so I've been feeling it and I've been loving it. It's kind of a nice feeling once again to wake up and my legs are feeling sore because I'm running a lot more. I'm not running outside as much as I'd like to. I'm still running on a treadmill, kind of getting my flipping cardio back up, but it's nice to feel that feeling that I used to feel, that my legs are always tense. They was always sore, you know? People that do a lot of mileage per week, you know what I'm talking about. Whenever you're running, your legs are always sore. You're always in constant pain. You know, it's just one of those type of things that happens when you run a bunch. So I'm loving that feeling. I've also started to reincorporate a lot of squats in my workout, which I stopped doing for a while because anybody that's met me IRL would know one thing I'm not lacking is thighs, you know? Anybody that's met me in real life would know one thing is I'm definitely not lacking, it's thighs. So I kind of pulled back a little bit on the squats because it seemed like my thighs were getting absolutely hench, like super big. I tend to, for whatever reason, I don't tend to like bulk up. Like if I do, at the moment, my chest is where it wants to be, but I have started doing a lot more push-ups instead of doing bench presses and shit, and obviously dumbbell presses. But I've noticed that my thighs get way more muscular and stronger if I do like a week's worth of like, you know, loads of leg workouts or whatever, than my chest. I can work on my chest for like a month straight and I won't really see much definition, won't see anything going on there. But the moment I start doing a lot of heavy back squats, the moment I start doing a lot of lunges, the moment I start running a bunch, suddenly, the moment I start doing fucking goblet squats, suddenly my fucking thighs explodes, Goku style. You get me? Goku style. Absolutely crazy. So it's been happening. It is what it is. I gotta make it work for myself, but it's been a bit nuts to kind of reincorporate that in my thing. But you know, we're out here. We're trying to do it. We're trying to make it work. We're trying to make it work. And as I said in previous episodes, you know, not for nothing, but I guess because I've been living in my own bubble for a long time, I kind of, you know, have essentially cut myself off from all society, which I love, and I'm all for it. But it's definitely made me a little bit, you know, navel gazing. It's made me a little bit insular, for lack of a better term, which is kind of obvious. But sometimes it's nice when I go to the gym at these crazy hours, which I think are crazy hours, 11 at night, midnight, 1 a.m., 2 a.m. There's a bunch of people there. So whatever feeling that I have in my head that I'm like this special guy that does these weird and wacky things, there's a bunch of other people that do the same thing. There's a bunch of other people who are nocturnal animals. There are a bunch of other people out there who have all these racing thoughts in their head and they just need to go to the gym just to kind of get it out while they train, or they use gym as a therapy, or they don't have a big social circle of friends like I don't have. So you just go there just to kind of feel something. You know what I mean? As dumb as sad as that may be, a lot of us do that. And we do it all in silence. It's like a collective, it's almost like a friendship thing, but it's not. You know, because now there's a couple of guys who I kind of say safe to. One particular dude, like we've crossed that barrier of like just nodding from afar, and I've kind of spotted him, you know, skin to skin, knuckle to knuckle, hand to hand, which essentially feels like sex. I'm not gonna lie. If you're in the gym and you suddenly start shaking the hand of somebody that you spoke to or having like an actual 5-minute conversation, it feels like you might as well be dating that person. You know what I mean? So that was a bit strange, but you know, it is what it is, because I've been a very staunch, and I'm still going to be that guy. I'm a very staunch believer in gyms not being a place to socialize. There's nothing I hate the most. There's nothing I hate more, than people who go to the gym and socialize. The only thing I hate more than people that go to gym to socialize are people that run in groups of 2 or more and they talk. You see those people? Not running club people. Running club people I kind of understand because you're in a running club, even though running clubs are super gay and I'd never go to a fucking running club. Absolutely pathetic. Like, choose something else, please. Get another hobby. Like, people going there to hook up or something. Like, only in this era, the most annoying era in the world, right? We're living in an era with some of the most annoying people ever, right? Only in this era would people turn running clubs, which I hate, but at their core they're quite useful and very helpful and stuff, and allow people to run in the community and allow them to get out there and run in the first place, feel safe around people, get their fitness up, travel the world, meet new people, blah 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 blah. Only now in this era, it has to be that people are turning running clubs into like fucking, I don't know, hookup events, right? And I see guys on TikTok, I've showed them before here as well, sharing videos of themselves like getting numbers of different girls that they're talking to in running clubs, purposely running with their top off so the chicks can like faint and shit as their pectoral muscles just skip from beat to beat. It's like, brothers and sisters, can we just exercise? So me personally, when I go to the gym, I'm in like a zen mode, you know what I mean? I don't want, it's the same, like, to be fair, I had the same sort of thing with church, I'm not gonna lie. Now thinking back to it, I had the same sort of thing with church, which is probably why I got a bit disillusioned with church, and especially church I was going to, because it became too social. It became too much of a hangout. It became too fun. You know, I kind of want to go there with this plan in mind of like, cool, I'm going to church to go and praise the Lord. I'm going to church to go and reflect on my sins, to go and think about my life, whatever it may be. But you're going there with a purpose. The last thing you need is somebody telling you some drama, some gossip happened during a week. It's kind of going to muddy your thoughts. It's not going to allow you to kind of, you know, keep your eye on the prize and do what needs to be done. Same goes for the gym. You go to the gym and someone starts talking to you about, I don't know, Drake and Kendrick or something. It's like, bro, like I'm trying to do this fucking sumo deadlift. Do you know what I mean? I don't really give a shit about Drake and Kendrick right now. I'm trying to get this cracking. So even though I'm not a fan of that, going late at night as I do, there's not a lot of people there anyway, and they don't really want to talk to you anyway. It's just a cursory, like, you know, or a polite little spider, polite little hands to the airs, which I don't mind too much. So I'm enjoying that so far. And as I blabber on about it, you can kind of tell that I have very little social interaction nowadays, especially outside of raves, because of how often I blabber. I'm just thinking about myself, actually, this is not the most interesting topic to even be expounding on or blabbering on about for more than 5 minutes, but it is a reflection of where I am in terms of human interaction. But to be fair to me, this is on purpose, so don't feel bad for me. Don't start playing violins. Like, I generally don't like people, you know? I'm just not that kind of guy. As much as I enjoy doing this sort of stuff, when it comes to real life, like, people annoy me. So I tend to kind of keep myself to myself, because I also know I'm very temperamental. Although I look very calm, I look very chill, I also have the capacity to fly off the handle. And I just don't want to do that. Do you know what I mean? I'm too old to be sitting in a cell, to be brought up on charges, go to fucking pen, sit on a wing. I mean, I'm just too old for that sort of shit. Imagine me, man. I'm not cut out for none of that stuff, man. I'm just talking out my ass. I ain't cut out for none of that stuff. But anyway, moving on to topics that I do think are pertinent and makes a lot more sense. I was listening to the New Rory Moore podcast earlier on, and it kind of touches on and expounds on this topic I was talking about, friends in the gym. And on the New Rory Moore podcast, they were speaking a little bit about the universal "Hey, I'm in your city" text. And I think the question came along because somebody on Twitter posted something like, oh, some guy texted me, I'm in your city. And then I think this girl showed a screenshot of her DM back. She's like, oh yeah, have fun, you know? And I think I learned a valuable lesson early on, that those "hey in your city" texts or messages don't usually work. And I've kind of always kept that in the back of my head. Although I've kind of floundered and I have kind of given into temptation and hit some people up that I probably want to meet or wanted to, or have met in the past, I want to hook up with it again, it never really works out. And the reason why I say this is because when I went to my first like friend's holiday, what was it, 2008? No, it must have been 2010, 2011 with my friends to New York. Big up all the BNTL crew and extended family. I ended up hooking up with some girl out there who happened to be English, actually, weirdly enough. She wasn't even from America, but she was living in a hostel. She was staying in the hostel that we were all staying in. But then because obviously naturally, Agostino, the fucking idiot, when we went to New York, I must have booked a plane ticket that was different than everybody else's. Which actually, to be fair, thinking back, wasn't actually my fault, because at that time I was working for Nike, 1948 if I'm not mistaken. And at that time, they were paying us via invoice. And that was the first time I'd ever been paid invoice in my life. So I didn't know about, oh, they don't ever pay you on time. I had no understanding of that. So I was just living on money that was getting paid like 2 months late, 3 months late. So I couldn't book my ticket in time. By the time I did book my ticket, the flights all my friends were going on, I couldn't get them. But I did get a flight that I think flew out, if I'm not mistaken, in the evening. If those guys left in the morning, I left in the evening. Anyway, long story less long, I ended up landing in New York, and I stayed in this hostel. I think it was called like Generator, or like Worldwide, or something, or like Saturn. I don't know. It was a really sketchy fucking hostel, and it ended up closing down the next year because of how sketchy it was. I think it didn't meet building regulations, but it was super cheap, dirt cheap. But it ended up getting closed down, and it was so fucked up that I remember, if I remember correctly, this hostel was like a couple of floors. It's like one of those quintessential like New York houses with like the stoops, right? Had a couple of floors, and if I'm not mistaken, obviously there was no lifts. So on the stairs, there was all carpet on the stairs, but the carpet wasn't stapled down. So when you walked up the stairs, the carpet would kind of pop out, and it would kind of create this like ramp, basically. So you couldn't actually walk up the stairs correctly. You had to kind of like dig your feet into the right angles to kind of walk up the stairs without slipping down, because there was no, the carpet wasn't stapled down. So imagine trying to lift your luggage up from there as you just, whatever, you're a bit delirious, whatever. Honestly, it was a fucking crazy experience. Anyway, long story less long, I ended up staying in a hostel with my friends, but I ended up staying in another room. So I couldn't stay in their room because they was full. And obviously in that room is where I met said girl. We ended up getting friendly. There was another guy in there who was, me and him were battling for this chick. Obviously I beat him to the punch, man's riz is on point. And we had our fun and stuff. And then I remember that was my first experience of like finding out that sometimes, or most of the time anyway, holiday link-ups and stuff don't really carry over. For the most part, they don't really carry over. So they don't continue. Whatever happened there. You have your fun, have your memories, but it's not something that can kind of be recreated. So I remember me naively trying to recreate this thing when this girl came back to London, or came back to England, sorry, and she was in London. I think she might message me actually, and I remember we met up at the time, and it was weird because I can viscerally remember the feeling now of like, oh man, this isn't the same thing, and I think we both felt it without even saying anything. We kind of hanged out. We went to fucking, I think we might went to Shoreditch or something, or Brick Lane, took her around some shops, and then kind of just said our goodbyes very awkwardly. But you could tell like it wasn't the same, I think she just met me out of just politeness, like, because I think nowadays, that was back then too. Nowadays people ghost way more easily. I think back then people weren't ghosting as much, but now someone would just like, not turn up on the day. But I think she just turned up because she was a nice, polite girl. But in the end, when we went, as soon as we got there and we kind of saw each other, it was like, oh, this isn't the same, I think you kind of hit different when you were in New York. I kind of hit different when I was in New York. Like, this isn't going to work, but we still went through with it. So I learned that lesson early on, but I still do give in to temptation, and I can't hit people up. But to be fair to me, I do have this thing now as a rule. Whenever I go away on vacation, or wherever I go away, I never really live post about it. I'm never on fucking IG posting where I'm at, my location. If anything, I'll do that after the fact. So you know how people usually announce, it's the hey, I'm in your city is kind of trite. It's kind of a bit too obvious. Now people do the thing of like posting themselves, posting a picture of the city they're in, and like geotagging it, and then hoping somebody that you like might be like, oh my god, are you in my city? I mean, that's what people kind of do now. But I don't even do that, to be fair to me. I don't even do that. I might reach out to people directly, but then when you reach out to people directly, it actually hurts more because you sometimes get left unseen or whatever, or they don't open a message at all, which can be fucking brutal. Which is why I think going forward, piggybacking off that conversation I heard on New Warrior More podcast, as a rule, that's just something I'm not going to do, and it's going to be like a little bit of a switch in terms of my experiences when I go out. Obviously there'll be some people in some cities that where I go to who I didn't get a chance to meet first time around, I'm going to try and meet just in terms of a hanging out thing. But when it comes to, when it comes to the huzz, I'm just going to leave it as chance be. Do you know what I mean? Because I think those experiences are way better. The ones where they're spontaneous. Like, I've had some of my best going out, raving, holiday experiences have been that spontaneity, and haven't been from like, oh, texting somebody. Like I always mention that one fucking event, or that one time where I went to fucking Nicaragua for a little trip and stuff, to visit a friend that was living out there for a bit, did a little backpacking as well during the time I was out there, and I met some, hanged out with some couple of Australian dudes over there, obviously because Australians are fucking worldwide, got friendly with him, And yeah, we became like online friends, no biggie, social media friends and shit. And then randomly one time I was in Berlin, walking down the street in Neukölln, and guess who I see across the road? Guess who fucking shouts my name? Yo, Aggie! That same fucking Australian that I met in fucking Nicaragua randomly was in Berlin at the same time I was in. And I didn't announce on social. I didn't check his social because I don't really check people's stories like that. And I randomly saw him. And that was honestly one of the best spontaneous events I've ever had, because we ended up kind of meeting up with him. I think at the time when I met him, he was like with these two, I think they were Mexican girls that happened to live in Berlin, which is really strange, by the way, because, you know, there's not really a big Mexican community out there. But he happened to be with these two Mexican girls that were living in Berlin, who he was like, I don't know if he was pimping them or what he was doing, but he was having his fun. So that was a kind of a great experience. And I've had a couple of those similar sort of experiences in life. And those are far better than trying to arrange some whatever. And also maybe the person that you do know, bumping into them sometimes out is way better anyway than trying to, do you know what I mean? And I'm just not that kind of like texty, back and forth, hangout, friendship type of guy anyway. Do you know what I mean? I'm just too weird and fucking extrovert, introvert for that sort of shit. So I think it's better just to kind of allow it and just let the experience kind of roll. And to be fair anyway, anyone that really wants to see you will make the effort to kind of hit you up anyway. Do you know what I mean? They might kind of get a feeling that you're going to be somewhere. They might ask you a question. They might fucking check up on you. Do you know what I mean? Anyone that's really interested in that regard will hit you up. So there's no real need to be like, oh, hey, I'm in your city. If anything, that just opens you up to heartbreak, opens you up to embarrassment. And one thing I don't do is embarrassment or heartbreak. My pride is way, 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 way too high. Unfortunately, I think way, way, way too much of myself, which is a good thing. And the last thing that I want is for someone to make me feel less than, which is never, ever, ever going to happen again. Okay? Cool. Moving on. Let's talk a little bit about Tesla Robotaxis. I am so excited about this. I am so excited about this. This is courtesy of Sawyer Merritt on social media. It says, breaking: the first ever Tesla Model Y Robotaxi with no one in the driver's seat spotted testing on public roads in Austin, Texas. Tesla's new Robotaxi Woodmark logo is on the side of the vehicle. Let's quickly play this 8-second video of a Robotaxi in Austin, Texas with no one behind the wheel. Fucking trippy. Now, I don't know about you, but this fucking is so exciting to me, being a tech dude, being a fucking nerd that I am. Oh, you can't see it? Really? Oh, shit, you can't see the video. Damn. Apologies. Let's do it one more time. You couldn't see the video. Whoopsie. One more time. There you go. Now, for me, being the tech nerdy guy that I am, this is so exciting for me. This is the kind of stuff that gets my dick hard, because this is definitely going to be the future. I'm surprised, in my humble opinion, I'm really surprised that Uber aren't trying something like this. Or maybe they are. Maybe they are stealth mode, developing some sort of autonomous vehicle service software, because that is obviously the next frontier, right? That's obviously the next frontier. We've all had our moments in Ubers or taxis where we've had an annoying driver that we don't want to speak to, or sometimes we just feel obliged to speak to them, or sometimes we just want to be on our own thoughts and not have the presence of somebody else in the car, whatever it may be, right? I know services like Uber have tried to implement options on their app where you can select a driver not to speak to you and shit, but you know, it's kind of, it feels a bit rude. It feels a bit unnecessary when you're driving, when you're sitting in someone else's car and they're driving you somewhere to be like, oh, I'm not going to talk right now. Do you know what I mean? It just comes across a bit strange. So I think this way of having autonomous vehicles can kind of service people like that and kind of, you know, be a solution for that kind of option. And obviously you can probably deploy way more autonomous vehicles out there then you can have drivers who are ready to fucking drive people in Ubers. Especially now with the rates of Ubers not being as high. Every time I go into an Uber, I'm sure some of you guys are the same. Whenever you get chatting to a driver, the first thing they complain about is the pay. The pay is not as good as it once was. Essentially, a lot of them are having to work crazy graveyard shifts to get anywhere close to what they were getting beforehand. So if the money is being squeezed out of it from like drivers in terms of how they're making their money as a side hustle, the only way to kind of make this viable is obviously to make it autonomous. And although that's going to get rid of the entire job industry or market for drivers, it's going to allow people, you know, us included, to be able to have more of these to hand available to jump into. And you would imagine in the future too, as this technology improves, it will inevitably become cheap. It'll become cheaper and cheaper and safer for people to use autonomous vehicles as opposed to jumping into somebody's regular car, because, you know, car accidents with humans are, you know, the figures of those are scary high. Now, there's also a really cool thing about this, because this might be one of the first promises and deadlines that Elon's met, new ones anyway. He did say they were going to try and roll out autonomous vehicles in Texas and kind of incrementally kind of grow them from then on, from June onwards. A lot of analysts and experts were saying June 12th, and it's come a little bit ahead of time. So it's actually one of the only times I can remember in recent years where Elon has set a date and he's kind of landed in around that date. Outside of stuff that happens with SpaceX in terms of, you know, testing the fucking rockets and shit, when it comes to Tesla, he always misses deadlines. So it's really cool to see for once they're meeting a deadline. And I think the reason why they're meeting a deadline probably is in part to Tesla's public fucking reputation taking a nosedive because of Elon's, you know, philandering in fucking in the government with obviously President Trump. And I'm sure that's hurt obviously Tesla's stock price. And I think going forward, with the, you know, with the lack of Tesla Roadster, with the Cybertruck flopping, with there being no real development or kind of idea on when that 20 grand Tesla's going to come out, they're probably the only long-term hope for Tesla to survive and to actually end up being this car company that everyone kind of believes it to be, especially people that bought stocks in it, is this autonomous vehicle thing. This autonomous vehicle thing is probably the main thing that's probably holding Tesla up right now, because if they figure this out, if this ends up working the way they think it's going to work, if it passes all the safety checks, if it gets through all the fucking bureaucracy, all the red tape, all this, all that malarkey, and they deploy it around the world, this thing is going to be a game changer, and it's going to make Tesla a bunch of money. I already mentioned before that Uber, I'm surprised they haven't tried to do this themselves, because they've had such a dominant fucking lion's share of the market when it comes to ride hailing services and shit. But imagine if Uber decides to link up with Tesla and they decide to kind of use, you know, Uber's, you can kind of use Tesla Cybertrucks as a service on an Uber app itself. Imagine the money they'll make from that. So the earning potential on this is fucking crazy. So I can definitely understand why they're rushing to push this out, or they're trying to meet the deadlines, because obviously if they get it right, it's going to be fucking crazy. The only thing that I'm a little bit annoyed by is the fact that we haven't got the actual cyber taxi. Instead, it's a new Model Y. So that essentially, if you've got the new Model Y, the Juniper version, which is sick, it's something that I'd kind of definitely want to buy, because I don't have a car, I've never driven in my life. But in terms of a first car, I'd love to have a Model Y Juniper. It's like the perfect mix between like a hatchback and a fucking SUV, in my personal opinion. And it probably is the closest one that I'd probably want to drive in London. It kind of makes more sense. The Model S is really nice, probably a little bit too long and big, but I think the Model Y is a perfect kind of, again, hatchback SUV type of shape. And the only thing I don't like about it is that we don't have the actual Robotaxi, you know. But what it does show is that the Model Y Juniper is fully equipped with full self-driving. Full FSD is in the Model Y Juniper. So if you've got one of those, you're kind of future proof. But I would like to see the actual Robotaxi, like that gold car with the 2 butterfly doors, with no seat, with no steering wheel, anyone on the dashboard. But I guess when it comes to testing, they probably legally still have to have a car that has a driving wheel in it. And most likely, even though there's no one in the passenger seat, most likely there's somebody in the back seat observing. Do you know what I mean? That's probably what they're kind of doing. The only thing I don't like as well, to continue on, is the logo. There's like a logo on the side of the car. This is the Robotaxi logo. It looks kind of similar to the Cybertruck logo. It's like this shitty like spray paint font, and it kind of looks like, to me, something Elon drew and then they scanned it in. That Cybertruck font looks like something Elon sprayed. If they're gonna do a spray paint logo, I would prefer if they go and actually license or get the services of an actual graffiti writer or artist, sorry, to kind of do the font themselves or the throw up, because I don't like it. The hand style is fucking terrible. So I don't like the logo on the side of the car, but I am really excited to see what they're going to do and how it's going to launch going forward, because I think it's going to look fucking amazing. And honestly, for the future going forward as well, because for me personally, when it comes to tech, I'm going to talk a little bit about the Apple, WWDC thing as well that happened recently with iOS 26 or 25, whatever it is. I feel like sometimes with tech, like, we're not really where we should be. Maybe it's my product design background, maybe it's my nerd fucking background, but I want tech to kind of look like the future. I want us to kind of live with tech that kind of is representative of our times, and we don't really have that. And I think one of them will be sick as a kind of mind-blowing thing is seeing these cars autonomously driving around the streets. You know what I mean? Fucking wild. Maybe a bit strange for you if you're driving, to be honest. As a pedestrian, I love it. Maybe it's a bit wild if you're on the roads and these cars are alongside you. You're probably not going to be too happy about it. But me as a pedestrian, me as a non-car owner, me as somebody that lives in a fucking metropolitan city, where I would love the ability to jump in and out of an Uber like this, that's self-driving, without having to talk to no one. Because me personally, I don't know about you, but when I jump into an Uber, I always feel like this is someone else's car. Like, I don't take it for granted. I'm not in there talking shit. I'm not on there putting my feet on the chair. I'm not on there. I'm not asking him to give me the fucking access code for the Bluetooth or whatever, or give me the fucking aux cable. Do you know what I mean? I just leave it. Wherever he's listening to radio, I just let him listen to it. If I want to put my headphones on, I'll put them on. But do you know what I mean? Like, you're taking me somewhere. I treat it like a black cab, even if it's an Uber. But I don't know, maybe it'll be nice from time to time jump into an Uber and be able to, I don't know, open your laptop and do a bit of work and not feel antisocial, not feel like it's like a big fuck you to the driver. Or maybe you want to put on your music but you don't want to ask the guy or disturb his peace. So you know what I mean? So like, I would love it for that ring as well. That'd be fucking awesome. And I'm sure there's a bunch of people as well who probably don't take Ubers because of the drivers themselves would be on it as well, to be honest. So, because I know there's a bunch of people in London who usually will go for like a black cab service, like an Addison Lee, like just a black cab, London ones, over an Uber, because they don't like the conversations. Or I know some friends who will purposely only choose I forgot what the Uber premium level is, but there's a level when you search an Uber, there's one that usually gives you like, big black trucks and shit. They'll select that because usually those drivers are chauffeurs and they know not to talk unless they kind of spoken to. So I know a lot of people try to avoid that whole talking thing. It probably sounds trivial to most people, but myself, it's an issue for me, and I'm sure others feel that same way. A big development here, courtesy of Tesla Robotaxi. It says Tesla CEO Elon Musk reveals new details about the Robotaxi rollout. So this is courtesy of Tesla Robotaxi. Obviously expanding on that video that went viral on social media, because at the last time of checking, that video that I've just spoke to you about is on 8.3 million views. So a lot of tech fans are like myself, are super excited. They've got their cocks out, they're rubbing one out to the idea of having these fucking Tesla self-driving cars, driving all over the fucking country, all over the world, which is going to be fucking amazing. So Elon decided to kind of give us some more information. So let's see what's going on here. Tesla CEO Musk has revealed new details about the company's relatively imminent rollout of the Robotaxi. Earlier today, the first video showing the first driverless Tesla Robotaxi in Austin was shared on X just a day after the city officially listed the company as an autonomous vehicle operator on its website. And the other great thing about this as well is that even though Waymo are doing the similar thing right now, if I'm not mistaken, Waymo, I think, has like all three technologies. I think they have LiDAR, I think they have cameras, and I think they have something else, maybe infrared. I've got something else anyway. But whatever autonomous vehicle technologies exist, they are operating with all three, which is why Waymo cars look like tanks and they have that big massive cone on top. Like, they use so many different things. So it's a lot harder to iterate with a Waymo. It's a lot harder to kind of roll those out in mass, which is why they're only kind of, I think only in select cities in the States and stuff, and maybe in other parts of the world, but you can't roll them out across the board because it costs so much to make. If I'm not mistaken, I think I read somewhere a report that said it costs like $100,000 to make a Waymo car or something. But again, going forward, maybe the Robotaxi will end up being a couple of thousand, maybe tops 10,000. So you can then roll them out and produce them way more than you could a Waymo. Even though Waymo may be overall, the autonomous driving technology may be safer as a ride because they use 3 different versions of it. But I still prefer. I would definitely put my chips in the Tesla market when it comes to sort of stuff. Let's continue. So, update from Elon. The first tidbit is one that many Tesla owners and fans have already known. Many Teslas are capable of driverless performance. He says, "Beautiful, simple design. There are unmodified Tesla cars coming straight from the factory, meaning that every Tesla coming out of a factory is capable of unsupervised self-driving." Fucking amazing. The only thing I don't like about this is that us human beings, myself included, we're gonna mess this up, innit? You're gonna see people. I'm sure it's happened already. You're going to see people filming pornos in their car because it's self-driving. You're going to see people doing the balloon epidemic in this country is crazy, by the way. I'm sure if some of you live here, you guys would know. But the balloon epidemic in England is fucking, especially in London, especially with a certain part of our population. Big up all my Akis. It's fucking crazy. Kids getting behind the wheel and taking nitrous to the face, doing balloons behind the wheel. So can you imagine if self-driving takes off and becomes an industry standard and other car manufacturers start to implement that technology into their own cars? Can you imagine the fucking shit people be getting up to behind the wheel now that they're free to not concentrate on driving? Do you know what I mean? Like, it's crazy. Like, because I knew when I was a part of a certain subreddit, when I was a part of a certain community on Discord, you know, that were getting on it when they did the adult multivitamins, I remember hearing a bunch of people when I was on like these Discord voice chat. By the way, big up the people that are on voice chats. Big up all the delinquents. Big up all the fucking crazy people that are on Discord voice chats on like crazy hours in the morning talking to random people all over the world, right? I remember there'll be times I'll be on there and there'll be guys and girls on there like doing gear behind the wheel, like just rolling down motorways, driving around, and supposedly it's a really maybe because of the fragileness you feel when you're in a car in general, but a lot of people say it's a really crazy high getting behind the wheel while you're on the multivitamins. It's fucking wild. But can you imagine if people don't have the necessity to drive, what they're going to be doing behind those wheels? God damn it. It continues on. What software do these cars have? Someone asked Elon. Is it the same version as what we are using in the HW4 cars, or is it a newer version? Elon announces it's a new version of software but will merge with main branch soon. We have more advanced model in alpha stage that has 4x power armors, but still requires a lot of polishing. That's probably ready to deploy in a few months. And by the way, how much more tolerable, how much more enjoyable, how much easier is Elon to listen to when he's not fucking talking about politics? Like, honestly, please keep this. Like, I hope this continues. I know there's been some conversation about Elon maybe reconciling with Trump, which I don't like, but allegedly that's the conversation happening online. But even if that does happen, hope he takes a backseat and just does all the communication about politics with Trump and everyone else behind closed doors. If he just sticks to the tech, if he sticks to fucking figuring out fucking SpaceX and making us multiplanetary species, and he hones down and figures out fucking Tesla and gets the fucking autonomous driving working and launches the fucking 20 grand, 30 grand car, and finally launches the fucking Tesla Roadster that's been, you know, delayed for many, many years now, that's when things will be good. But when I hear him opine and start speaking about politics and immigration and fucking racism and whatever, governance and shit and overrule, no, shut up. Just focus on this sort of stuff, please, if you don't mind. So yeah, really looking forward to it. Really freaking looking forward to it. Tesla Cybertrucks, or no, Tesla Robotaxis, including Cybertrucks actually. Cybertrucks are also equipped with the same tech, are floating around Austin, Texas, autonomous driving cars with no people, no drivers behind them. Obviously, this is also, just to note as well, this is also a bit of an experiment because it's a bit of a walled garden, right? They're kind of testing it in Austin in a very specific location. Most likely, with depending on the technology they have to hand, they can probably mitigate any errors by having a control center where they can take over cars, or in some cases, as Tesla's been cheeky to do in the past, when they have those robots, right, those Optimus robots, they're not really like they're not really doing the things by themselves. They've got a controller somewhere in the background who's obviously moving them, but they don't never say it. So maybe this is also the case. Maybe these aren't actually autonomous. Maybe people are controlling the background. Whatever. As long as they get to it anyway in the end, I'm all for it. I'm all for it because I want to see a future where things around us kind of look like the future, you know? It's not all kind of stagnant and shit. I don't want to be waving down a car. I don't want to be talking to some man in the car. If I can jump in the car without anyone in there and do what I need to be doing, I'm on it. I'm flipping on it. Continuing on. I'm not gonna lie, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm not going to lie, but I think I finally might have to get Ozempic. I've been on the fence about it for a while. I've been debating it for a while. I've been debating having to bring it up to my fucking GP. How do you say to the GP? How do you roll up to a GP and say, "Oh, I think I'm morbidly obese. Can you give me a drug that can help me be skinny, please?" Like, what are you meant to say? You know what I mean? Are you meant to lie and cough? Are you meant to walk in with swollen ankles so you can show you got diabetes or something? What are you meant to say? I don't know what you're meant to say. But regardless, if I can't say that, then obviously what I'll end up doing is doing what everyone else does and going on Telegram and finding some fucking dealer that sells it. Because I've seen a bunch, by the way. There's a bunch of fucking dealers on fucking Telegram, allegedly, who are selling, you know, grey market Ozempic and Monjaro and all this other nonsense and peptides on the fucking darknet, which is fucking insane because that shit could be anything. That shit could be fucking rice vinegar. You have no idea what it is, but people are buying it on droves and leaving good reviews. So I've got an option, but I'm not getting Ozempic for the reason that you think, which is just to fit into my, you know, my Subi jeans, my Dior jeans, my Saint Laurent clothes, my Rick Owen pants. No. The reason I'm going to get Ozempic is because of this headline courtesy of New York Post. Look at this. I have lost. Oh no, that's not the one. That's not the one. Oh shit. Wrong fucking one. I meant to be the one with the dick increase. Damn it. Ozempic. It's a wrong headline. Wrong fucking headline there. What is it? Ozempic, New York Post. Happened just the other day. That was a wrong fucking headline. Big up that lady though. She lost over 100 pounds and she lost a lot of her life. That makes a lot of sense. It's not this particular headline. There we go. There we go. It's a penis size one. There we go. Penis size. So if I do end up getting Ozempic, the reason why I'll get it is not because of the weight loss, which is obviously a great little bonus. It's because of this headline courtesy of New York Post. Average penis size has increased and Ozempic could be to blame, experts say. Now, off the back, when I read this headline, the first thing I think about is when I lost a considerable amount of weight. I think that might have been like, what was that, 2010? Was that 2010? I think the first time that I lost a considerable amount of weight might have been like 2010, 2011. When I was like 300 pounds, I think I went down to like 200. Oh no, I went down to like 198. I was like 300 pounds, went down to 100, which was fucking crazy. Now I went back up again. Now I'm probably like what, 270, 260? And now I want to get back again, right? But I remember when I first lost that amount of weight, the first thing I noticed was that my Johnson did look bigger, like when I looked down. But then I realized, oh no, it's not really your Johnson looks bigger, it's that you're smaller, so your piece can, like, you know, breathe, you know? Like everything looked bigger. Even my feet I thought looked a bit bigger because, you know, there was just, I could just see more of it, right? Because there wasn't a lot more fat on them and shit. And generally wherever your limbs you are. So I wonder if this Ozempic side effect of your penis growing bigger is more to do with actually really obese people never seeing their penis in the first place, or seeing it in full for the first time in its full fucking full definition, full flavor. I wonder if that's the case. We'll read the article and find out, courtesy of New York Post. It says Ozempic might shrink waistlines, but it seems to bulge other parts. In a recent Reddit thread, male Ozempic users claimed the weight loss drug helped them penises grow. I recently measured myself down there and I noticed I gained about 1 inch. A person proudly shared. I don't even know how that's possible, by the way. To be honest, right? Considering, I know some people get it done, but I'm sure it's not healthy. Considering all the plastic surgery women get and shit, I'm actually surprised there's nobody offering a solution for like increasing penis size, but a pharmaceutical one. I'm surprised that's not a thing. We've got everything else, but we don't, or maybe even cosmetic surgery. I'm sure they do exist, maybe in terms of filler, maybe to make it look a certain way when it's flaccid. But I'm surprised there's not an option. There's not a service out there. There's not something pharmaceutical grade that you could just take and, you know, you wake up and you've got a fucking mandinga. It's kind of wild, isn't it? Men's lives don't matter. Although there hasn't been enough research done to correlate between the semaglutide and the men's genital measurements, the average penis size is continuing to rise, and some experts think Ozempic might actually have something to do with it. The average penis has grown nearly 10% from 5.17 inches to 5.63 in between 2022 and 2024, according to diabetes.co, and they're not the only ones seeing the increases. The data also revealed that Venezuelan men experienced a massive increase from 1.4 inches to 6.7 inches within those 2 years. Dr. Richard Vini of the consultant of urology surgeon of the Queen Elizabeth Hospital in Birmingham thinks Ozempic and similar drugs could be to blame. He says, men's penises shorten as they get older due to increased body fat and increasing prostate size, drawing the penis back into the body, he told the diabetes.co. God damn it, man. That's kind of shit, isn't it? For some reason, when you get older, your nose gets bigger, but then your dick gets smaller. That's a horrible fucking trade-off, isn't it? That's a horrible fucking trade-off. It is, he quote, it is theoretically possible that new drugs like Ozempic and Wegovy, which are used to treat diabetes, obesity, respectively, can cause people to lose weight. Could also be a factor. As men lose weight, their penises appear larger. Yeah, that's what I said earlier. However, in 2023, research published by the World Journal of Men's Health revealed that average size of what a guy is packing has grown 24% over nearly 30 years. Jesus, that sort of increase has health experts concerned, especially because 2 years ago, they couldn't put their finger on what was causing it. Speculation around weight loss drugs being the culprit is possible, but the Ozempic trend is recent and its growth for men has clearly been going on for some time. Me personally, I think if you look at the whole reason why it exists, right? Ozempic exists because of, it's like a diabetic drug, right? It's to help people that have diabetes, clearly super obese people who have no other way to lose weight, but they need to get healthy in order for them to live and not die. If that's the case, then I reckon most people who are super fat have never ever actually seen their piece, you know, like properly in its full girth. Maybe some guys are so conscious about their weight they've never even looked down. I know a lot of guys who are fat who don't even weigh themselves. Yeah, even skinny people don't weigh themselves. People really have a lot of hang-ups and insecurities about weighing themselves. So I could imagine there are some guys that, the insecurity wise, because they're a certain size, don't even look down. So they don't even have an accurate idea what they look like or what it looks like, or like sometimes we all do, they maybe sometimes think less of themselves, right? So they think they're packing a lot less than what they actually have. And then when they actually lose weight, they measure it and obviously it looks a lot bigger because you lost the weight, but then it's the first time you've actually measured it, so it looks fucking crazy big. So that could be the reason why that's happening. That really could be the reason why it's happening. Any overall change in development is concerning because our reproductive system is one of the most important pieces of human biology, says Dr. Michael Ellsberg. If we're seeing this fast of a change, it means that something powerful is happening to our bodies. Other possibilities include the cause of chemical exposure with peptides and hygiene products, Ellsberg hypothesized, which can disrupt the hormone regulating endosystem. Now, the only thing I'm saying about this I'm a bit dubious about, just because I'm a sensible lad. Hearing all this stuff, I'm thinking to myself, what's the catch? Nothing comes for free, right? What's the catch? Surely there's a catch when it comes to Ozempic like this. Surely all these benefits, right? Everyone is looking great. Most fat people have the ability now to get skinny for the first time in their entire lives. You're seeing girls like Meghan Trainor, right? That pop star. Remember that pop star Meghan Trainor? I've never seen Meghan Trainor look more happy. Don't get me wrong. Meghan Trainor was always like a fat white girl anyway. Like in general, she's like a fat girl, like happy. But I think I've never seen Meghan Trainor look so happy. She's smiling. She's wearing loads of skimpy outfits, short shorts. She's got a midriff out and shit. So a lot of women are probably, having a new lease of life they've never had before, because Ozempic has opened up all these possibilities because of loss of weight, which they've always struggled to lose. You've seen what it's done to Adele. Adele was always very pretty anyway, but now she looks like a fucking stunner with all the weight loss. Lana Del Rey was looking crazy one time. Now look at her. So I'm sure it's done a lot of good for a lot of people. Many guys have probably never been able to fit in their fucking wedding day suit. They're fitting it again. They're going on holiday, taking their tops off. Great. But there has to be a side effect. The side effects have to be kind of crazy, innit? I don't want to look into it because I'm considering it myself. Because if I look into the side effects, I'm never going to do it because I'm a sensible person. But all these benefits, all of these pros, the cons have to be high too, innit? They have to be. I don't not believe the cons are high. The cons are definitely high. Like there's no such thing as a free dinner. I don't believe it. Everyone looks amazing. Everyone's going to the red carpet in their best fucking looks. Even if they got the Ozempic face and shit, they can fit into good clothes. Most people don't mind. They have the Ozempic face, the sunken in cheeks, the sunken in eyelids and whatever, eye sockets. If they can fit into something nice and not have to wear, you know, I don't know, not have to wear fucking tall XL clothes, they're going to be happy with it. But what is the trade-off? What are you giving up for that aesthetic, for the aesthetic appeal and pleasure? What are you giving up on the other side? It has to be something. I don't know what it is, but I know it's fucking something. I know it's fucking something. Anyways, my friends, before we continue, because I want to, you know, boost the channel and I want to continue doing what I'm doing here with this particular show, the plan is obviously to keep streaming and doing this on random show and this at the same time all the time. And I want to give it a boost and obviously allow the memberships to kind of grow from here. I think in general, going forward, I think what I might do, actually, when I hit 1,000 episodes on here on YouTube, what I'll end up probably doing is probably taking the show live on Kick and having the memberships on there, and then have the clips up on this page. That's what I probably will do going forward for the long-term future of the show. I think so. I think that might be the best way. So then I can build the Kick as well. At the moment, it's hard to figure out what type of content to do in there because I do so much on YouTube. But for now, I'm trying to get 500 members, obviously on this channel as well. Same sort of thing I'm doing on Random Show. So I'm going to actually give some memberships on here to allow you to watch some stuff and check out some member-only content I'll be publishing throughout the week. So let me actually send out these gifted memberships. So I do get a couple throughout the month. I can send out. Oh, I can send out. Okay, cool. I can send out 5 right now. So let me send out 5 gifted membership for some of you lovely people who are watching live. Enjoy, enjoy, enjoy. Who is in the stream chat right now? I saw somebody ask me a question. Who was asking me a question in the stream chat? Big up. Who's saying this? Big up. Does Ozempic cause skinnier penises? I don't know about that one in terms of girth, but big you up anyway. With no ass. With no ask what becomes of the stroke game. Big up, big up, big up Apex Potter. How much you eat AZ? Way too much, Addy Z, way too much. Big up Andre. Will we see AZ in size 29 Heidi era SLP by winter? 100% you will. 100%, 100%. But I've got such an ego, I'm so prideful that I probably won't end up doing Ozempic, you know. I want to do it with be the strength of my own back. And I've done it before. I've actually done it before. I don't know if I've got something here because this is always a good motivation for myself. But I've done it before, so it's not like an uncommon thing. But I think I might have something here that I can show you in terms of fucking proof. But man's done it before. You feel me? It's not that crazy. Obviously, it doesn't seem likely because some of you motherfuckers haven't seen me. But man has done it before, but I don't know where it is. It's somewhere around here anyway. I'm sure I have a picture. Let me see if I can doubly check it up before we continue on. Bear with me 1 second on here. Bada bing, bada boom. Do I have it? Is it that one? No, it's not that one. Is it this? No, it's not. Big up me. Is it? Oh, there we go. There we go. Okay, it was 2013 actually. It was 2013. It wasn't when I thought it was. I thought my first major kind of weight loss transformation that I did was in 2013 actually, which was a fucking while back ago. So this year will be another big milestone, but I'll show you because I think that, yeah, that was, and I can do it through like pure hard work and effort, which I'm kind of obviously doing now. I've kind of already lost about 20 pounds anyway, so I'm already on a good little way that I'm going. But you know, the Ozempic thing is so tempting though because it's such an easy cheat. Because there's nothing, honestly, no one can, if you haven't worked out before, or if you've not been big before, or just working out in general, doesn't matter if you're big or not, it's so hard to do consistently and also eat well. Like that, I think the eating well is probably, no, I think that doing it consistently is actually harder than eating well. I'm not going to lie, because once you get used to eating well, it's easy to do, but doing it consistently, trying to go as least minimum of 5 days plus every fucking week, bloody blah, 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 an hour this, it's like, it's a lot. It's a lot. A lot of people don't really give people credit that do it like that, the real way. But it isn't as easy as people make it seem as. I'm not going to lie. It's a fucking nightmare sometimes. But, you know, in the end, you end up being way healthier. And it ends up helping you in the long term going forward when it comes to your life and shit. You feel me? So, let me show you. So this is what I did. This is what I did many years ago. So this is what, 2013, I think, right? Yeah, this is 2013. Let me see if I can get this for you. Bear with me 1 second here. Where is it? 2013, right? Ugh, can I? Why is it not loading? Bear with me a second on here. Cool. Is it downloaded? Yes, it's downloaded. Can I open it? Yes, I can. There we go. Okay. So there we go. So that's, can you see it? No, the screen's not on there, by the way. Sorry, I didn't get the screen up, but this is a screen. So this is 2013. So right now, underneath this fucking lovely camo jacket I've got, I'm like this now. This is what I'm back to, this 2013. But this is what I think I did this in the space of like 4 months. I think 4 months. I think I did this, and this was mostly done with. Do you remember that guy? Who was that guy again? What did I do it with? I did this mostly doing. Who's that guy again? Who's that light skinned guy that does the workouts at home? Was it Project X? What was it called again? I was doing that for ages. It fucking works. What was it called? Light skinned guy that does the workouts at home. It's like X workout. What's it called again? I downloaded the DVDs on a torrent. Like I downloaded them. I put them on my fucking iPad, I think. And I'd go to the park and I'd be doing the fucking workouts in the morning. P90X, that's it. Yeah, P90X. There we go. P90X. Sean T. Yeah, Sean T's my guy. Big up fucking Sean T. I love Sean T, bro. That shit worked, bro. Honestly, this is what got me there. Sean T. P90X. That's it. Only P90X. That's what got me there, bro. It's fucking sick. Honestly, it's fucking sick. I'll be in the park, like doing my little workouts, doing my ladders and shit. Big up the ladder gang. So if I did that, then I can do that now. If I did that, then I can do that now. You get me? Cool. Moving on. Somebody posted this picture, AI picture, featuring the Studio Ghibli AI thing that everyone's doing now, and it features a kid sitting on the side of the bed, holding a pair of fresh Jordan 5 grapes that are due to come out soon, retro, right? Reimagined pair. And in the wall, there's like a, hazy picture of himself when he's younger. So essentially, it's a younger version of himself being stoked that his older version is buying the shoes that he always wanted when he was a kid, but he probably couldn't afford or whatever else it may be. And as lovely as this picture is, right, as cute as this picture is, endearing as it is, the unfortunate reality and truth is, when I saw this, is that sneakers don't do this to you anymore. They don't give that to you. If anything, I've noticed the older you get, the more access you have to disposable income, the more unlikely it is that sneakers are going to have this effect on you. Sneakers, the longing and the lusting for like certain pairs was only really there when you didn't really have the means for it, or when you had to choose. Like imagine there was a drop and you had to choose between 3 pairs because you only had, you had to choose 1 pair from 3 because you only had the money to afford 1 pair. You couldn't buy all 3, even though you wanted them badly. And they were all fucking hard and sick as hell. So you had to choose 1. And that's what's actually made you appreciate shoes more. When you get older, you can buy more shoes. Like nowadays, I don't think limited edition stuff even exists nowadays, because technically you can buy whatever you want on resale, on like StockX. You don't need to really wait and buy online and do end stuff. You don't need to do that anymore. So it kind of takes away that kind of, limited edition feeling of scarcity that really doesn't exist anymore. They try to make it exist with numbers and all that malarkey, but if you got the money and you really want the shoe, you can get it whenever you want, like anyone. And most of them, you don't have to pay a crazy amount of in terms of a resale. And me personally, I'm a big believer in, if you really want the shoe, no matter what the resale is, you should pay for it. Like, fuck it. Like, if you're gonna wear it, I don't mind. Even if it's gonna be like $1,000, I'm gonna buy it because I'm sure I'm gonna wear it. And the other thing I was thinking too about this picture is the brands themselves, Nike in particular, they've kind of taken the piss out of sneakerheads for too long. And I feel like I've been really kind of disillusioned with them in general. There's not much innovation. They're always on fucking retros. They keep fucking re-releasing everything. Now especially now, in this era we live in, where the kind of the Y2K or the early 2000s era is really in trend. So Nike are going back into the archives and retroing a lot of stuff that, I kind of missed out on in the past, but just retroing everything that's limited edition, which I should be excited for, but doesn't really fill me excitement because it's not new, it's not fresh. You're not creating new legends, new stories for the kids coming up. You're just rehashing the same old fucking nachos. And I'm just not for it. I'm not for it. It's not that exciting. It doesn't really give you that buzz anymore. And I would much rather they try and fight and fail at making new silhouettes and creating new stories and new memories, as opposed to rehashing the new ones, the old ones, and not flooding the market with dross. That's another thing too. There's just too much stuff out there. It's hard to get excited, How can you get excited about shoes when like it feels like every week there's a limited edition shoe that you must get? And I'm not a mindless consumer, you know. There's a lot of people in the sneakerhead world who I detest, who have that kind of feeling about them, especially like those like complex crew people, especially like Matthew Welty, fucking knobhead. Those are people who like anything new that comes out, they're automatically wanking over. Anything new. Doesn't matter if it's like a great pair of fucking New Balances or like another pair of Adidas's fucking Sambas. As long as it's new, they're fucking getting excited over it. It's like, bro, that's the definition of a hype beast. Are these shoes even good? Are they interesting? Would you care if they didn't have this collab name to them? Would you care if they weren't Kith? Would you care if they weren't ALD? Would you care if they weren't attached to fucking, I don't know, whatever else person it may be? Allow it. So I would love this feeling to be true, but unfortunately for me, it just doesn't bang the same way. It just doesn't bang the same way. It just doesn't bang the same way. Talking about stuff not banging the same way, Apple introduced a new operating software or new IO recently, right? iOS, called iOS 26 at WWDC 26, 25, whatever it was called. And the thing that's come from it, the biggest thing to come from it, was this glassy effect thing they got going on, right? It's called liquid glass. So this is courtesy of the Apple press room. Just going to quickly read through to kind of give you an overview of what I'm talking about. And I'm going to go into some examples that I think don't really resonate with me and kind of go to show that the Apple that we knew and love has long dead and gone. The Apple that we all knew and love has long dead and gone. So it's courtesy of the Apple newsroom. Apple introduces a new delightful and elegant new software design. It says here, Apple today previewed a beautiful new software design that makes apps, system experiences and more expressive and delightful while being instantly familiar. It's crafted with a new material called liquid glass. This translucent material reflects and refracts its surroundings while dynamically transforming to help bring greater focus to content. By the way, can you call something that's on a screen material? Can you call something digital material? Is it material meant to be tactile? Or is the definition of material anything that has some sort of texture or surface? Because it's a bit of a weird thing to say. It's not really liquid glass. It's just a, you know, whatever. It's just Apple lingo probably. This translucent material reflects and refracts its surroundings while dynamically transforming to help bring greater focus on the content, delivering a new level of vitality across controls, navigation, app icons, widgets, and more. For the very first time, the new design extends across platforms, iOS 26, iPad, whatever all those are, to establish even more harmony while maintaining the distinct qualities that make each unique. It continues, one more blurb here. At Apple, we've always believed in the deep integration of hardware and software that makes interacting with technology intuitive, beautiful, and delightful, says Alan Dye. This is our broadest software design update ever, meticulously crafted by the rethinking the fundamental elements that make up our software. The new design features an entirely new material called liquid glass. It combines the optical qualities of glass with the fluidity only Apple can achieve as it transforms depending on your content or context. It lays the foundation for the new experiences in the future, and ultimately it makes even the simplest interactions more fun and magical. Cool. All that to say, it ends up looking like this. It ends up looking like this. And I kind of liked what I saw when they were kind of introing it, right, in the WDC thing. And what I saw was quite interesting there. But when I see this, I'm like, oh, that doesn't look too great. On the screen, you have this liquid glass update, and the notification bubbles have this like translucent effect on it. So imagine like semi-translucent glass. So every time a notification pops up, the other bit of glass kind of pops up underneath. So you kind of get that cascading deck of cards effect. But on this one, because it's translucent, because it's liquid glass, you can kind of see through the other side, and it kind of obscures the bubble. So you don't really see what's in there. So it kind of makes it hard to read, you know? So it's kind of, it doesn't even look like it's finished. It kind of looks like something that you might be doing during a sprint that isn't ready to ship yet, but you can kind of see where they're trying to go, but it doesn't really look too polished. And for me, it kind of represents another representation for me that Apple is no longer the Apple that we all knew and loved, especially the Apple of Steve Jobs, because I don't think Steve Jobs would have ever let something like this ship. It's not done. It's not finished. It's not polished. I get where they're trying to go with it. If anything, I would have much rather seen, personally, I think there's a revelation down here somewhere, But when they were introducing it, they showed these really cool images of people working in the Apple design studio, and they were holding these bits of glass on the table and moving them around. And I thought that would be sick as a thing to develop in the future. Like, forget this fucking really big clunky phone. Maybe they could sometime in the future, like that girl. There was this one girl that went viral a few months ago who was walking around with a piece of glass on her phone, and everyone thought it was a new phone that they were developing. But she confessed and said, no, it's not a new phone. She was trying to break her addiction with social media. So she purchased a bit of glass you can get on social media that can kind of imitate, the feeling of a smartphone without it being a smartphone. And, but I want to see that in the future. I would love to see Apple develop something where essentially the phone is just the front piece of glass on the front of the phone itself. You know, that kind of translucent effect. That would be something that you'd imagine, oh shit, that's what the future would look like. You know, like AR, VR, incorporated touchscreen glass phone type of thing. But I guess they're trying to get there by doing this like liquid glass effect feature thing, which technically, you know, maybe makes sense as an idea, but practically so far, based on what people have been saying online, it's not the greatest so far. But I guess if you also want to increase the real estate of the screens, it makes a lot more sense because you can see a lot more underneath, right? Because essentially that's what they're trying to go for. They want the screen to be as visible as much as possible, so it's edge to edge. So even if you've got a box or over it, you can still see a little bit underneath it. So it kind of gives you this feel that it's just one big continuous screen, which I guess is okay. But like I said, I just don't think the Apple of Steve Jobs would have shipped something like this. Like, this doesn't look finished to me. It just looks a little bit, you know, the idea looks a little bit like it's not really polished. Like even this guy, maybe the pictures, the colors he chose aren't the best, but he chose like this really light blue, sky blue effect. And essentially you can't see anything. You can barely see what he's kind of got in these notifications. It kind of looks a little bit all over the place. I don't really like it personally. So they haven't really figured it out just yet. Hopefully they do in the end, but it's not looking that great for Apple. And of course, The Verge had an article regarding it too. We're going to quickly read. It says Apple's liquid glass was a wild change to my iPhone. I've heard people say online, telling people, please don't change, don't swap your fucking, you know, don't fucking update your iPhone, because allegedly this liquid glass feature really fucking pushes your iPhone. If you ain't got the latest one, it's going to really kind of make your iPhone go red hot. So maybe be wary of kind of updating the iOS. But let's read this article. Apple's liquid glass was a wild change to my iPhone. It says, after staring at, scrolling through and puzzling over Apple's new liquid glass design language on my iPhone for the better part of one afternoon, I don't hate it, but I think it needs a little bit more time to kiln. Apple announced the liquid glass on Monday for its all devices for WWDC 2025. Perhaps the most notable thing about it is the app icons. The idea comes to be because they are floating a layer over the things like a lock screen and wallpaper or texts. The glass can be translucent to give you a sense of what's under it. It makes sense. The initial implementation of iOS 26 developer has many of Apple's signature flourishes and attention to detail, but boy are the changes jarring when you first meet them. Let me show you just how dramatically it changes things. Below on the left is a picture of iOS 18 lock screen I shared with David Pierce for the installer newsletter just last month. And on the right is my lock screen today on the iPhone 16 Pro with iOS 26 developer app. So let's see how it looks. Oh, I don't like that at all. So that is the regular iOS 16 app icons. And when you shade it over, that's the new translucent ones. It kind of looks, I don't know, maybe it's kind of giving me jailbroken iPhone vibes, you know? It's kind of giving me jailbroken iPhone vibes. That's what I'm kind of getting from it. I'm kind of getting jailbroken iPhone vibes from this. That's what I'm getting from this. But I don't like it. I prefer the regular icons. I'm not gonna lie. Let's continue down. It says, even in my intentionally grayscale home screen, I hope you see that the difference are immediately apparent. Everything is transparent and shiny. Here's my home screen with the color added back in. If you want a different way to look at it, many icons are familiar, but they're all bubblier. Yeah, I don't like that. Me no like that. Here's the control center, which frankly is a mess right now. The transparency on liquid glass makes it cluttered, and that's even with my grey home screen. Yeah, look at that. Wow. So technically the idea makes sense, but once you put it into practice, with the notification screen, the apps that you have on your home screen are still very visible. And it makes it look very busy, you know, very, very busy. And for somebody like me that likes my apps organized in a certain way, you know, maybe slight OCD shit, this will get on my nerves very quickly. This will get on my nerves very quick, because now if I scroll down my phone and do the fucking notification thing, all the apps grayed out. I can't see them at all. It's a completely grey frosted glass type of effect. But this is way more translucent. I don't like this. I don't like this, man. The only thing I do like about it is the edges. I'm not gonna lie. I think the liquid glass, what I do like about this, if I'm gonna give them a little bit of like praise, what I don't mind about it is the edges, the corners, right? The chamfers, the curves, all this is really nice. I quite like how this pops, and it kind of makes them look like they're buttons, right? It kind of makes them look like they're physical buttons that you can kind of move around. I kind of don't mind that, but I don't like how you can see the apps underneath. I'm not gonna lie. That would really piss me off. Seeing all the app icons underneath like that, I'm not going to like that at all in the slightest. The clock app shows a good example of the finer details that are changed. The bottom tab bar is rounded. When you tap different tabs, the selector shifts over the animation that I can best describe as a water droplet moving across the pond. Cool. Yeah, I don't like that. Me no likey, me no likey, me no likey. The settings apps is way too much space between the settings category, which is a problem I've noticed on messages in the last list as well. The things under URL bar in Safari will bend due to the liquid glass design. Oh yeah, there you go. Yeah, there you go. Got that little bend going on there. And system prompts look different as well. Yeah, very strange. At first, I hated the big changes that surprised me. I'm usually fine with UI tweaks. Back in the day, I was on board with even the earliest and worst version of iOS 7. But after a couple hours of iOS 26 beta, liquid glass is growing on me. My phone still functions like it used to. I have a lot of small complaints, especially with the spacing and the formatting, but I expect Apple will tweak them and fix them. Yeah, I'm not doing it. I'm not updating my fucking iOS. I'm not updating. Don't get me wrong, I can't update anyway because my phone's absolutely jammed and I don't have any space, so it can't even auto update. I don't have any free memory, but I'm definitely not going to do it. I'm not doing it. I'm going to keep fucking ignoring, putting it off, delaying it for tomorrow, ignoring. You are not getting me. You are not getting me. Okay? I swear it. You're not going to get me. You're not going to fucking get me, mate. You're not going to fucking get me. Next. Can we talk about Fuse? This is the last topic. Can we talk about Fuse before we move to the random show? We got everybody tuning in live. I appreciate you. Can we talk about Fuse? Fuse Festival happened in Barking Park the other day. It's basically, I'd say, more of a tech house, deep house sort of a rave. They were known for doing these great parties at 93 Feet East in Brick Lane back in the day. They've now expanded into doing many different parties. They have this festival they put on in Barking Park, which is not too far from where I live, actually, that I probably should have gone to, but, you know, I'm in my fucking, you know, focus, locked in sort of vibe, so I can't do that right now. But it did look pretty cool. What I like about it the most, personally for me, is how they design the space for the festival. They have this really cool lighting fixture, whatever unit they put into the park, that, in my opinion, makes the park feel like it makes the festival feel like an open air club. It doesn't feel like a festival. It's a really clever way to make it feel like a club, but it's open air, but it's not under a tent. So whatever that design is, it's sort of like a T shape. It's like a T shape. No, it's like a double C back to back shape lighting system that I'm going to show you right now that they put in there that makes the space look fucking amazing. So this is what I'm talking about. This one, right? See this? So this is a video showing you what the space looks like. So in my opinion, I think that looks really cool because essentially it's just a park, but they've turned that park space into a semi-club open area sort of thing. Open air type of vibe, right? And I think it really creates like a really special, unique vibe that you don't really get in other festivals. So let me show you some clips of what went down at the fucking festival. And look at that too. That's also another good addition that I've seen a lot of festivals do, where they utilize a DJ booth and turn it into like an LCD box. So the back of the DJ booth has this big LCD screen. They project certain things on, and it kind of makes it look a bit more spacious, makes the DJ booth look more interesting. Obviously, it probably is done mostly for social media, so that when you're recording a DJ and you're sharing on social, you have this cool imagery going on. But I think it just gives the whole space a nice little vibe, makes it feel warm, makes it feel a little bit more worth the money, you know, because they're putting the money into production, whatever it may be. I don't know. It's better than just having a table with a black piece of cloth over it. So I do like what they're doing here. Allegedly, that track ID, courtesy of somebody in the comments, there is Mind, Body, Soul, Bakey Edit. Mind, Body, Soul, Bakey Edit. Let me show you a couple more videos and we'll talk about the thing I want to talk about here. I just want to give you some background on what the vibe is like when you go to fucking Fuse Festival. Oh, to be fair to Fuse, that sounds fucking sick. To be fair to Fuse, looking at the caption, it does say we've reached halfway point and open air is in full swing. So they do refer to it as an open air, not as a festival. Even though it kind of looks like a festival, not really, because it's got one stage. I guess if you're a festival, technically you have to have more than one stage. But because they've got one booth, it's basically an open air. But I like how they do it in like a park. It's not in a club, because we don't really have a lot of open air clubs in London. Maybe because we don't really have good weather anyway in general in summer. But I do like how they kind of have, you know, merge those two terms and create this really interesting experience, especially for music or for a scene that usually isn't the most, you know, advanced. That doesn't try and push things usually. They do the bare minimum. So it's cool to see them pushing things a bit more. Okay, all of that preamble to say, look at what happened, unfortunately. Look at what happened at this year's Fuse. And I'm so sad because it involves my fellow Negros. Letting the whole team down. But I showed you all the good bits of Fuse, what happened, the vibe. Look at what happened this past weekend. I think it was on Sunday or something, right? This past Sunday. Look at what occurred at Fuse. Sad scenes.
And your soul. It's the power to arouse curiosity, the purpose, the goal which one acts on, a journey of force, hot like the sun and wet like the rain, rhythmic movements in unison with others, prolong an act of sensation with no limits or boundaries. Eternity is past, wrong is right. It's the point of greatest intensity. What is the highest sense? Feelings of warmth and security. Willing and unwilling sensations of the mind.
In case you can't see this and you're just listening in the background, a fight broke out in the middle of Fuse. Right near the front as well, by the way. A big fight, which involved a couple of ragamuffins, let's say, black guys. And it looks like, from what I can see in the video, the guy recording is the one that's actually involved in the fight, who looks white, if I'm not mistaken, by his arm. I think the guy recording the video is the one that was involved in the fight. One of those black boys was trying to punch him. The other bigger black dude was trying to stop them from punching the white guy. But for whatever reason, because the black guy was trying to stop them fighting, the white guy behind him, the other black guy was like, no, fuck that, we're going to beat you up now. So they decided to swing on the black guy, and then one of the guys put his hands into his trousers and pulled out a bottle of tequila. I forgot what the brand is. That little, I don't know what brand that is of tequila, but he pulled out from his trouser pocket. I'm not sure how he snuck it in, by the way. Big up that guy. I don't know how he snuck in a whole bottle of liquor, because I've gone to festivals, and big up Bobby, big up my friend fucking Bobby. We went to fucking Junction 2 a couple of times, and one time in particular, we got searched in a special tent. Like, we were walking up to Junction 2, we're lit, we're having our fun, joking in the street, laughing and joking. Security tells us, yeah, come here, come. You two, come here. and they took us to another fucking entry, and we thought we were getting picked out for a special one-off VIP entry. Really, we didn't get picked up for VIP entry. They probably saw us being lit and having fun and thought we were super fucked up. So they took us into a special tent where they search you like deeply, like fingers and arse and all that sort of shit. So, and you know, that was one tent, but in general, anyway, in Festival, especially in London, they don't play around when it comes to the fucking searching. So I don't know how that guy managed to sneak in a whole bottle of liquor. Maybe he nicked it from the bar. Maybe that's also possible. Maybe he didn't sneak it. Maybe he just put his hand behind the bar and took it. Or maybe he bought the whole bottle as well. That's also possible. But regardless, like, that's kind of dangerous to have those bottles around, you know? So he tried to smash the black guy with a bottle over the head. It didn't work because the guy ducked out of the way. But everyone just stands there. Everyone dispersed. They create a big circle in the middle and they're just staring at these guys like fighting. And it's really unfortunate because Fuse is a sick festival, party, promoter, group people. They also, I think, are great because they're kind of tied to the ends, if that makes sense. I'm not sure who's behind it, but I get a feeling that they're tied to ends. Like, you know, a lot of people from like the area that I'm from, the places that I grew up in, I've seen them there. Like guys that I kind of grew up in around Canning Town, Custom House and shit are all in there. I'm sure a lot of Essex people go there who I'm kind of, you know, linked to in a way. So it's good to see that because a lot of these raves are usually full of like, you know, toffee, snobby, whatever kind of people. So it's great to see people from ends who are going there. So because of that, I'd imagine it's one of the only sort of like mundele white people parties that guys from ends, black guys like myself and shit, would be comfortable to even go to, because the people there are like you. They're just, you know, different skin tone, but they're born the same place that you're born in. They kind of know what I want. So it's really sad that a place where black kids, black guys dressed in tracksuits can feel comfortable going, because I've always said it before, one thing that I don't like about this whole like safe space conversation and this inclusivity that's going on in dance music is that if my little brother tried to go to the raves that I tried to go to, like if my little brothers pulled up to Club Air, if they pulled up to Hull, if they put up to Club Verboten, if they put up to fucking Tech Couture, Night Service, all these great parties in London, dressed the way they dress regularly, they won't get let in. Even though they're used to the same music that I'm into, because they dress a certain way, the pickers, or if they try to go to Unfold, they'll be like, no, you don't match our vibe, because they're dressed in tracksuits or they have certain fucking garments on, which is a bullshit thing. So when there are parties that allow black guys to feel comfortable to roll up in fucking black tracksuits and bucket hats and shit, we shouldn't take them for granted, you feel me? So it's kind of sad to see these guys, you know, fuck it up for everyone. Because now people will be looking at us thinking, oh shit, you know what I mean? We all do this fucking ragamuffin thing. The other thing I don't like as well is that, if I'm not mistaken, like I said before, I think this fight was between this black guy and whoever's recording, who looks like he's white based on the color of his skin tone when his elbow popped into the camera frame. I didn't like it when the black guy came in to break it up. The other big black guy, they went ultraviolet on the black guy. They were trying to bottle him and everything. And it goes back to, again, like, why do we want to hurt each other so badly? Like, you wanted to just punch up the white guy, but then the big black guy tries to stop you. You want to then smash him with a bottle. You want to inflict like lethal damage, you know, on him. Like, why can't you just fight him the way you want to fight the white kid? Why do we always have to up the aggression when we see someone that looks like us in a rave? It's not cool, man.
Condition, the ultimate seduction.
But the other thing that I'd love as well about this whole clip is the fighting somebody while you're holding a balloon. That's the funniest thing about this whole situation. He's got a balloon in his hand, right? And he wants to, and he's punching up, man, with a balloon in his hand, right? A whole balloon. That's the funniest thing. Look, there's four guys here trying to gang up on one dude with a balloon in their hand. More proof that if you go to a rave and there's people with balloons, leave. If you go to a place where everyone has got balloons, leave. Please fucking leave. Because no good can come from it, especially on the dance floor. If they're doing balloons after it, fair play. But on the dance floor, if anyone's doing balloons, run. Look, they're trying to gang up on him. Look at him, they're all swinging. Look at this. This is just like, and it's one guy, by the way. One guy. Look at that. He pulls out an entire. I don't know what brand of fucking tequila that is, but some of you might street chat might know that it's like a tequila brand. Forgot what brand it is. So he pulls out the whole bottle, and that bottle's hard as well, by the way. It's a hard bottle, short but hard. Hard glass on that bottle, bro. He pulls out the fucking whole thing. Crazy. I'm just looking at the floor thinking, imagine the amount of baggies that have been lost on that floor. That's what I'm thinking about. Don't know why, but because I've lost a couple of baggies myself when I go to these things. Imagine the lost and found baggies on that floor right now. Can you imagine the lost and found baggies on that entire floor? Absolutely crazy. So it continues. They try and fight him again. The black guy's by himself. He's not getting punched or hit once. He's trying to protect his girl. Good boy, by the way. Standing in between the goons and his girl, protecting them, which is nice to see. But just crazy. Unfortunate, man. Unfortunate. But, you know, apart from that, I think Fuse is a success. Let me go back and check some more videos of Fuse, and then we can end it. No, I'm a liar. I'm wrong. There is more than one stage at Fuse, so technically it is a festival. You know, maybe it's a festival open air. Sick. And I like it too because the crowd at Fuse are skankers. They go to enjoy. They're going to dance. You know what I mean? They're not posing around looking too cool for school. So even though a lot of my techno friends who go to underground parties would look at this rave and think, oh, look at this promotion, and, you know, put their nose up at it and go be like, oh, I could never go there, or they hate the people. They look like they're way more fun, personally. Way more. There's a broader range of ages. And they also go to dance, which is refreshing. One more. Look at that. It looks so fucking cool how they design it. Oh, Raresh. There's Raresh. Looks like a vibe, man. Looks like a vibe. Big up Fuse, man. Big up fucking Fuse. Hopefully that one event didn't tarnish it. I don't think it did, based on pictures I've seen here. I definitely need to go next year. I always keep saying this, but I definitely have to go next year, one of the next parties, because they do some good shit. And to be fair, I think I could tolerate them more. I trust their curation more, you know? Like, they do it way. So if I don't really into the whole deep house, tech house thing, but if I would go, I definitely trust their promotion, because I think they've got good taste and they usually book a lot of good people. I think I saw Raresh playing earlier. That he's a fucking sick DJ, so yeah. Love how shy and uncomfortable DJs are when the camera's around. Just look at the camera, man. It's all good. It's so shy. Oh.
Are you ready to give it or not? Yeah.
And then one last one, then we'll finish. I think it's this one. Where is it? The one with Raresh. Where I see someone with Raresh, you know? Let's do one of these ones. Which one should we do? Let's do that one. Josh Baker. This guy's a pretty big YouTuber too, if I'm not mistaken. Josh Baker. He also does YouTube, so big up him. Look at that view. Honestly, best job in the world, mate. Look at that fucking view. Look at all the people that you're seeing there, bouncing up and down from the stuff that you're playing. Look at that fucking view. Wow. So cool.
I'll keep all your dreams.
And then yeah, that's basically it. Big up for our cut Fuse. One last one too. What's this one say?
In a sweatbox, step to the dance, can't do nothing but head hop. Swerve inside in a roadblock's already red hot. I don't care who you are, talk on the floor, get headlocked. That's just another day and night in a sweatbox.
Anyways, friends, that is Fuse. Check them out. Don't be dissuaded because that one fight video, shit happens. People get leery. People get excited. It's not reflective of the whole rave. You know how it is. Give them a chance. They do great shit. They do great fucking shit. Anyway, that is it. Episode number 913 of the Excellent Singer Show is over. It's a wrap. Thank you for tuning in so much. I appreciate every single one of you that's tuning in live. Those of you who listen to it after the fact, I appreciate you even more so. Make sure you leave me a 5-star review wherever you are listening to this on your audio fucking podcast platforms like Overcast, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Wherever you listen to this, please leave me a 5-star review so people can see and kind of, you know, recognize the stuff that I'm doing and maybe give it a chance based on the reviews. You know how people are. If one person goes and says it's good, you're also going to join and say and give it a fucking try. So do that for me. That'd be greatly appreciated. Links to me and socials, all that malarkey, contact, whatever, is in the description if you want to contact me or reach out. Stuff to do with my socials there as well. I'll put timestamps for the audio podcast listeners and the video listeners after I've unlisted it and did all the fucking edits I need to get done on it. Those of you who are listening and watching, I'm playing my tune today. Going forward, I like doing it even though it gets me copyright strikes and sometimes it'll block the video. I have to edit it, but you know, I might as well just do it now because it's the best way for you to kind of get this stuff out there so you can hear the stuff that I'm kind of into. The tune of the day or song of the day for today's episode is courtesy of this really fucking good EP that just dropped recently. It's called Global Tracks. It's by LNS and DJ Sotofett. Sotofett I've seen play in Berghain I think a couple of times. Really great DJ. LNS I don't really know much about, but they put together a debut EP together on Trezor. It's called Globus Track, and my song of the day is track number 3 from that EP, obviously tying into it's called Destination. It's the tying into the whole Cybertruck thing and the Robotaxi thing. We're going to our destination, autonomous driving way. This is what I'll be like to listening to while I'm sitting down in my Robotaxi. The track is called Destination, track number 3 on the B-side of this particular record, which is called Globus Track EP by LNS and DJ Sotofett. This is my song of the day. Thank you for tuning in. Those of you who are watching live, don't leave. You're going to get redirected to the random show right after this stream ends. So big up everybody. Start around the show in about 5 to 10 minutes. But thank you for tuning in to episode number 913 of the Agostino Zinga Show. This is LNS and DJ Sotofett, Destination 901, my song of the day. Thank you. Peace.